Strong black super chemist talking about the UK and being Islamic.
On GB News sums up the frustration many Brits feel, although very few dare to speak up.
Become the dustbin for people around the world that want a free life, want to come and claim asylum or get a cash-in-hand job. We are being gamed so badly in this country that the money will run out. Now, some figures earlier, 7.5 billion for universal credit for migrants, 3.5 billion for public spending services for migrants, 6.6 billion for asylum seeker hotels and support. How can we afford this for much longer? Yep. And I made a point earlier to you out the back that we've had so many...
Keep in mind, England is like the size of a state. So whatever any numbers that he gives, multiply by 50 so that you can understand how big these numbers are.
Millions come in over the last 5 years. As soon as they hit 5 years, they're all allowed to claim as well.
Yep.
So we've got a time bomb about to hit this country that we cannot afford. And then that's without them sending for their relatives around the world. This country is going to change so badly in the next 5 to 10 years, it will be unrecognisable.
Already, many parts of Britain are increasingly unrecognisable. Here's Nottingham town centre. Try and sing a Christian hymn in parts of Britain, and hey, the police will be on to you.
Religion you're allowed to do anywhere.
No, miss, you're not allowed to sing church songs outside of church grounds, by the way.
You're not allowed to sing church songs outside of
church songs or church grounds. That's fine, that's
You're not allowed.
Only Christians. Muslims can sing wherever they want, whenever they want.
She just said you're not allowed to sing church songs outside of church.
Our church outside of church grounds, unless you have unless you are authorized by the church to do this kind of song.
Where's Dixon of Dock Green when you need him? Then there was the story of this poor character, Damon Joshua, who was sacked by Severn Trent Water for causing significant offence after calling Hamas disgusting terrorists on a staff portal. Quote, "I condemned," says Damien, "the October 7th massacre, and it cost me my job." And then this week we learned that a primary school in Hampshire sent a letter to parents and carers informing them that neither their Easter bonnet parade nor their Easter service will be held this year. They've been scrapped altogether in order to, quote, "respect diverse religious beliefs."
Keep in mind, this isn't the United States. This is England. They are a Christian country. As much as people think the United States is a Christian country, they are not a Christian country. We're actually, Christians went over to, the religious people went over to the Americas to get away from religious persecution. So it's not a Christian country. But this UK, they are a Christian country. And yet they have to, because human rights are only for third world country people. If you're a first world country person, you are not a human, so you don't deserve human rights. Okay, you can't. If you're in a third world country and you're a Muslim country, then you're protecting your culture. But if you're in a first world country and you're trying to protect your culture, then you're just a racist.
Beliefs. I wonder which beliefs that.
Which, if you think about it, that's literally the definition of racism. So the person calling you the racist is always the racist. You know what I mean? Always.
Those might be. And here's historic Manchester Cathedral celebrating Ramadan, of course.
Well, Middle East expert Amjad Tahar joins me now in the studio. And to be honest, I was going to ask you about foreign affairs, and then we just had a little chat in the break. And you've been talking about Britain's extremism problem. You're somebody who speaks out against anti-Semitism. You speak out in favour of moderate Islam as opposed to extremist Islam.
See, the non-racist people are trying to protect the normal Muslims by closing the border down to the nut jobs, okay? Because these normal Muslims are trying to get away from the nut jobs, right? The Sharia law people. But these racist pieces of garbage, they'll call me racist because I'm trying to protect the 95% of the normal Muslims against the 5% that are nut jobs. And you're not racist. Really. You're racist because you're basically saying I'm being racist based on what? My color of skin? What are you basing it on? Because I'm trying to protect 95% of the Muslims against the 5% or whatever the, I don't know the exact, ratio, but I'm trying to protect the majority, and all you're doing is calling me racist while you try to protect the criminals and the rapists and the Sharia law people. You sicken me.
What's your analysis of the state of affairs in Britain? Because we've got the Labour government right now considering defining Islamophobia in a way that some say might open the back door to blasphemy laws.
I think you have more. Well, thank you for having me. And I think you have more extremists in UK than you have in the Middle East.
Really?
At this stage, absolutely, than you have in the Middle East.
Really?
More extremists in UK than you have in the Middle East. More extremists in UK than you have in the Middle East. More extremists in UK than you have in the Middle East.
Now, is this Muslim guy? Are you going to call him an Islamophobic? How come I'm Islamophobic for saying the same exact things this Muslim is saying? Is it all you racist pieces of garbage out there that call it, you're an Islamophobic, you're transphobic, you're racist. You racist pieces of garbage that always jump to those words because you just love those words because you're racist. Are you going to call this man a racist too? Huh? You going to tell this Muslim how he hates Muslims? You racist pieces of garbage. That's how you know when someone's racist. They start calling you names like transphobe, Islamophobic, racist, Nazi. As soon as they start using them words, you know they're a racist. They're a racist piece of garbage. That's all they think about is race and that kind of crap. It's
At this stage, absolutely. The things that some of the Islamists say in various mosques, and we have been seeing that online, the terminology they use, the analysis they make, the statements they actually make, they would not be able to say it all the way in Afghanistan, for example, or in Iraq.
So how has this been allowed to flourish in the UK? What's your analysis?
In the name of...
Oh, because these racist pieces of garbage go around calling everybody you're Islamophobic. These racist pieces of garbage that want to protect the bad Muslims, right? That's why it's happening. Because I try to stand up for the 99%, the 95%, the 90%, whatever, of the good Muslims, and I'm called a racist. Well, you jump up and call me a racist and Islamophobia, and all you're doing is protecting criminals. You're racist because you're saying that if you have a certain religion or like you're Muslim, you're brown, that you are incapable of being a bad person. That right there, you're assigning skin color to morality. That's literally the definition of racism. You racist pieces of garbage calling me racist.
In the name of democracy, so the Muslim Brotherhood, who are the Islamists, who are the main ones are...
See, now when he's talking about the Brotherhood, that's what I call them, if you watch my videos, I call them the Sharia law army, okay? And every time you've heard me say that, the Sharia law army, these are the people I'm talking about. There's two main groups, but this guy here with the Brotherhoods, that's who I'm talking about. They are the Sharia law army.
Ruling and controlling in various press when it comes to the Muslim society and community in the UK. They control the whole narrative, and the Muslim Brotherhood and the Islamists are the radical Islamists. They're the Islamists, and they use the freedom of speech in a manner where they will be anti-Semite in the name of freedom of speech. I absolutely stand against that, because I think anti-Semitism is not an opinion, it's a crime, and a crime against the humanity.
Okay, now I disagree with this person. See, he's from the UK. They don't believe in free speech. Okay, they believe that there's some speech that is hate speech, which is a subject. What's funny is he's saying Islamophobic and putting it into law. That's a form of hate speech, right? And the thing about hate speech is it's not possible to define it because it's an opinion. You know what I mean? What might offend this one person doesn't offend 8 billion people or other people on the planet. So, I mean, what is hate speech and what is Islamophobic? You can never define it, okay? So, yeah, saying, no, there's no such thing as hate speech, okay? I don't care, unless you're, obviously you can't say, oh, there's a fire and there's no fire, and obviously, you can't tell people to go out and kill people or hurt people. I'm not talking about that, okay? Other than that, there's no hate speech, okay? That's a made-up thing, a made-up term, so that they can take one of your rights, right? And then later on, they're going to say, oh, this is hate speech too. Oh, you're talking bad against the government? That's hate speech. Oh, you're going to protest against the government? Oh, that's hate speech. That's all it leads to. And what's funny is, they've already opened the door for hate speech a long time ago. And now they're like, I don't understand why they keep we gave them an inch with the hate speech, and they're trying to take a mile. And the government is just so, politicians are so trustworthy. They don't understand, because government and politicians are just so trustworthy. They don't understand why they're trying to take why they're going to, be crazy about this hate speech thing. Yeah, they're going to be crazy because you let them be crazy with the first thing that you let them have hate speech with. You gave up your free speech, and now you're going to complain because they're going to take more of your free speech? Well, that's what happens. That's what people like me always say. If you give up one of your free speeches, you give them all up eventually.
And once you allow that, on the 7th of October, for example, when it happened, the genocide against the Israelis, what I saw and what we witnessed is the fact that some Islamists all the way...
And this word genocide, I think everyone should be put in prison for using the word genocide, okay? There's no genocides, all right? That is a made-up word, all right? That's your, genocide. They're having a genocide. How can you have a genocide in, say, Palestine when only, 0.0001% of the Muslims live there? You can literally kill every Muslim in Palestine. There'll still be 2.3 billion Muslims. So how is that a genocide if you kill them all off and there's still 2.3 billion of them left? How's that a genocide? Every time someone is killing someone, oh, it's a genocide. It's a genocide against black people. Oh, really? How can you genocide one country of black people when there's an entire continent with black people on it? It's the same way you can't genocide someone when it's a small group of that group, you idiots.
Away from here, in Small Heath, in Al-Amrak, in Birmingham, and other areas, we saw their voices. It was for Hamas. Yes. And Hamas, as a force which carried that genocide in Gaza and also in Israel, it's actually the armed forces of the Muslim Brotherhood. Muslim Brotherhood in my country, for example, UAE, where Muslim, where Arab, is banned, but however is not banned in the United Kingdom.
So it should be banned?
Absolutely.
What's funny is, even Muslim countries won't take these radical Muslims. Even Muslim one, but then the first world country says, well, we don't want them either. Oh, you're racist. Really? Same way they ban these people in Muslim countries, so they're so evil, they come to a first world country, and if you say anything about it, you're a racist. Really? Why aren't those Muslims in third world countries racist for not wanting nut jobs in their country?
Absolutely, because they use the freedom of speech to censor your right to speak against them. And when they use the terminology Islamophobia, it's just to stop you from criticizing the Islamists and the Muslim Brotherhoods or all form of radicalism. The fact that Islamic Relief, for instance, is registered as a charity here, but all the way in Saudi Arabia, in UAE and other countries is banned because of the investigation that showed that this charity is sending money all the way to some terrorist groups in the Middle East.
Yes.
It tells you a lot.
What do you...
Yeah, the Muslims, they always say how they're more charitable than any other religious organization. Yeah, they're charitable to the Hamas, to the terrorists. Yeah, they're charitable to them.
I think then this Islamophobia definition, obviously people are worried about it in the UK because it could prevent legitimate criticism of people who have behaved in an extreme way. I mean, moderate Muslims are saying, look, we don't want to be accused of being terrorists. We don't want to be accused of being members of child rape gangs. We just want to live our lives harmoniously with British people.
Yeah, they're trying to get away from the nut jobs. And then you've got these racist people that are always calling everyone Islamophobics, right? They're being so they hate Muslims. Okay, they